Hey guys, welcome to the Live Well, brought to you by Digital Sportsman, where we get together with our community and talk fishing. The show's fixing to start, we're getting everything ready. But in the meantime, we want to tell you about our fine partners that not only make this show possible, but are companies that we absolutely love and stand behind. Groove Fishing, changing the norm of tackle storage. Sonar Pros, specializing in high-end installations across all electronic brands. Go where the pros go. Lipsticker Fishing, specializing in putting clients on giant lake linear bass. Bill Payne's Guide Service. Fish with a legend on Lake Allatoona, seasonal smallmouth trips, or even get your sonar dialed in. Brooks Anderson Fishing. Guide trips and educating today's anglers on Lake Lanier. Big League Charters. Fish with a pro on Tellico, Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, and Chickamauga. Money Saver Lure Retriever. Designed to break your lure free from almost any snag. Fishers of Hope. Benefit fishing tournaments to help people in need. Serve IT. Industry-leading IT services for your business. Change the way you manage IT. Turner Tire. Jasper, Georgia's most trusted family-owned tire center. Atlanta Safe House. The trusted source for safes and gun safes in Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama. And of course, Digital Sportsman. A new way to discover and book unforgettable outdoor experiences with local trusted guides. Go to FNGO.com to get direct links to all our fine partners. Get ready and let's talk fishing. All right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the Live Well. Monday night is kayak night, something we're going to start doing now every Monday night just to make all of our kayak buddies in the fishing world happy. I know we got a lot of guys that follow us, but again, if you're not in a kayak, it's okay. You can join too and have a lot of fun. So it's going to be a great time. Hopefully we can get this to take off. And just kind of give the kayak guys, the plastic boat guys, some love. That's what I like to say. But see all you guys already in the comments. Hope all you guys had a great weekend. And again, listen, make sure you like and subscribe if you're watching at a later date. Hey, we love you too. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, all that stuff. And also too, if you're not a channel member and you want to have a chance to win a great prize at the end of each month, go ahead, go on our YouTube, check out your member options. And if there's a $4.99 option that gives you one drawing. A $9.99 gets you two chances in the drawing. We're going to give away a 6-4-1 JC Elite Reel. I guess whatever's closest to November 31st or whatever. So I'm going to bring in our guest tonight. And one of them took off, but he's not a guest. He's going to eventually be the host of this show. And that is Alex right there. So Alex is going to be working on him a studio. And that's the goal. Alex is I would say he's the kayak expert in our group, right? Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm something. I'm a kayak guy, that's for sure.
He's a kayak guy. But that's the goal. I'm actually going to be here tonight to learn as much as you guys. I own a kayak. Alex has seen me in a kayak. I've been in it once. But I might, if he can keep working on it, I might actually just kind of jump in there and maybe jump into some of those tournaments and take some of you guys' money. So, yeah, like that. We know how that's going. What's up, Tony, John G, Faze Fishing, Doug Rice, Coleman? What's going on? Papa Pond Hopper, glad to see you back, buddy. And of course, there's a guy named Alex in the comments too. So, he's right there. Anyway, guys, we're going to have a good time now. Thad Moody is the guest, but Thad's having some problems with his phone, so he'll be back here in a second. And, but Alex, we've talked about doing the kayak show.
Yeah.
And I kind of brought it back up to you now that things are changing. I thought Monday night would be good. So what is your expectations for what we're going to do on Monday nights?
I want to have someone different, obviously, every Monday,
right?
To talk about how they got started, maybe. Like tonight with Thad, we're going to talk about his tournament. He just fished his Tournament of Champions, took home the win and big fish.
Yeah.
Which was impressive. And just try and get somebody different. I see Sham in the comments. I'm going to get him on here too. He's the tournament director for the GAKFL. And I just want to spread some love, man,
Yeah.
So get some new guys in kayaks that never been before.
Absolutely. And that's a pretty cool thing. Now, if you guys know kayak groups around, for some reason, I was telling Alex, for some reason today, Facebook just did not like me. And I could not share this episode to all the kayak groups that I do follow. So share it around. Let everybody know that Monday night's going to be dedicated to you guys. And we'll just, we'll talk. We'll go over tournaments. We'll get, the personalities and all that stuff, whatever we can do. We're always going to talk about the bite. That's just kind of what we do here because the goal, even with the kayaks, the goal is to help you guys catch more fish, right? And Coleman, we can always count on Coleman. He's got the first question tonight. And so I'm going to ask it to you there, Alex. What's the best accessory for a beginner kayak fisherman?
So it's going to depend on the kayaker, honestly. But the first thing you need to do is get something that's comfortable, right? There's plenty of places and plenty of people that you can demo a kayak before you get one, just to make sure you're getting what you like. But the very first thing you need is going to be a quality paddle vest, not a regular old orange life jacket. You want to get a paddle vest, something that's going to be comfortable that you don't mind wearing all day long.
Hey, Thad says I'm backstage, and I'm going to say, you're not coming up to us. That's what happens when you invite a guy from Mississippi. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you can hear us, Thad, but I don't have you down here where I can pull you to the screen there, buddy. Yeah, the PFD is a big thing. Now, I remember when I got in with you over here at Latham, the one I had was way too small. You actually gave me a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, now from Spro, I've got an inflatable. Which do you recommend? I mean, do you like the inflatable or do you like the full bodied one?
I like the full bodied one.
Why is that?
Because I've seen too many instances where the auto inflator doesn't go off,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trusting your life with it. You know what I mean? If
Right.
you're out there by yourself, if you're out at Latham and there's only two other trucks in the parking lot, and something happens to you, you're on your own. You
Mm-hmm.
got no cell service. You got nobody around to come and help you. So really, I like the full bodied one with the high back so that it's comfortable. You get full range of motion with your arms, and you've got a lot of storage in the pockets and stuff too.
All right. So Thad he's gonna shoot this thing on his YouTube. And Tony says, funny thing is it's streaming from his channel YouTube. I don't know what all was going on, but Tony, if you can help him out, help him out. So now War Eagle the best. Hobie Pro Anglers are still the best kayaks on the market with a question mark. What is the best kayak on the market?
Man, the best it uh, again, it depends on what you want. It depends on your style, right? So if you ask me, I'm always going to say a native watercraft. The Titan X is probably one of the best. It's a pedal drive, and man, it's like standing on a dock. You lean over and push down on that thing, and it's pushing you back up. It's that sturdy.
There we go. We found him. Hold on. Let me go ahead and pull Thad up and then we'll finish that. Let's make sure Thad can hear us.
I can hear y'all.
Okay. Right. Now listen. You're going to have to start working your stuff like us Georgia boys do. I know you're from Mississippi, but you know.
Look, I am very much a biologist, and me and technology do not mix. Because I actually had to switch to my iPad because it just kept kicking my kept kicking my phone off.
I got you. Okay, so we have you now, and you can answer this question too. So Alex, go ahead. He's talking about there was a question if Hobie Pro Anglers were still the best kayaks on the market. Alex was answering that, and then Thad will get your answer, and then we'll get into what we were going to talk about.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the two best ones out there are going to be the native Titan X and probably the Bonafide XTR or the little brother PWR. Those are both really. They don't come with pedal drives. You can motorize those or paddle them. But the natives do come with a pedal drive. So you've got that. You don't have to motorize it right away. You can pedal around and get your fishing done. And they're badass. Thad's got X behind him.
Yeah, I've got the Titan X12.5 here. Huge. I love it. The guy I bought it from at Mid South Floats here in Mississippi said if you buy this, you will catch fish. And I took it on its maiden voyage and I broke my PB with a 24 3/4, 9.5 pound bass that day. So he hasn't lied to me yet.
Now here's the thing with this, Alex. We're gonna have to get used to this because I got to remember on Monday nights we're talking length.
Yeah,
we're talking length on Monday nights and not weight. So when he said that he broke his PB with whatever it was, I went, oh, that's right.
But typically for me, anything over 20 inches is going to go on the scale.
Okay, I like that. It should. All right, so Thad, since we got you, we got a couple questions. Let's go ahead and jump on these questions, and then we'll get to you. Let's see. Here we go. Tyler wants to know how long does it take for a spotted bass to become a 4-pounder? Pretty much. Thad, you want to answer that?
That is a somewhat loaded question because it really depends on the forage feed of it, the lake conditions. You know, the largemouth here in Mississippi in the South, it's normally you get about a pound, maybe a pound and a half growth a year in really, really good conditions. Spotted bass are a little different. They don't go by the same saying and stuff for them. So if I had to guess, I would say if you catch a 4+ pound spotted bass, you're probably looking at 5+ year old fish easily.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm totally playing with the buttons here, guys, and don't know what the hell I'm doing on this side right there. So that's a great answer, though. I got your answer. So I'm over here playing like crazy. Now, Ken is going to be in the comments, and he's got a question for you, Alex. Of course, how much do you charge for kayak lessons? And not his fee because he knows it's going to be higher.
So I've never actually given kayak lessons before, so I wouldn't know what to charge. But Ken, I'll take you out for free, buddy.
There you go. There you go.
But
And
a little quicker.
yeah, there you go. Coleman is he's got something that's very relatable to me. Is 6 inches a big bass? To me, that's more than enough. Listen, hey, it's all about the fight, right?
Yeah.
Emotion in the fight. That's what it is. So, but anyway, all right. That new Crescent looks like a little bass boat. Now, I've always asked kayak guys this: when does a kayak become a boat? And what I mean by that is once you put all the things on that you like to put on there. Some of you guys got more money in a kayak than a lot of guys I know have in a bass boat.
Yeah.
An older bass boat for sure, but in a bass boat.
Yeah.
That
boats, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. You know, our kayaks are better than the little pond prowlers or a 10-foot john boat. I put my kid in the back of mine and tow him around the lake.
Yeah.
But I honestly think once you can no longer take a two-handed paddle and do like this and propel yourself, I really think at that point it's no longer a kayak but something else. That new what's the new is it the PDO? It's got the giant front deck and you can get like 2 seats for it and everything. What is that? That's the what?
The FDR.
Yeah, like really that's more of a skiff to me than a kayak, in my opinion. That's more like a skiff.
Yeah, fair enough on that. Well, is that what Fluke Master has?
Yeah.
Deck on the front? Okay, I saw that at Jimbo's when I came down there to see you guys like that. So let's see right here. Sham says, I think double motors is when it should be considered a boat. And I got that. And
he's got 2 motors.
I know it. So Sam got him a boat already. Now, here's another question. This is a good one too. And again, once I get my kayak kind of starting to deck out or however you guys want to say it, I got to figure this out right here for sure. How do you figure out what tackle and how do you organize soft plastics? I have trouble limiting my equipment. And, you know, Alex, when somebody looks at yours, and I haven't seen Thad's kayak in motion and all that, but I've seen Alex's. It looks like he's got 32 rods and all that. It looks like you're really crowded. You got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff.
But I know it's set up the way you like it.
Yep.
You know, so how do you go about organizing? And then same thing with you, Thad. Actually, let's let Thad answer that first since he's there. How about that?
So on mine, I've got a black pack. I do carry 10 rods with me. Well, during a tournament day, I do. And as far as my tackle goes, I keep all my hard baits and my terminal tackle in the black pack in 3,700 boxes. But I also have on a pull out tray. I'll have my essentials my quick grabs and stuff like that. And then on each side of me, tucked in beside, I Evolve Fishing. I have a partnership with them. Those large Evolve bags are absolute fantastic for storing soft plastics. Because on one side, I've got all my like my swagger sticks, my worms, my smaller things like that. For smaller plastics, I call them pretty much a big worm bag. And for crawls and everything, on the other side, I've got all my swim baits tucked in another one. And it comes a lot down to pre-fishing and how I prepare with what I'm taking. I always carry a bunch of extras down stuffed in my hole. In the hole of my kayak, I can flip that front hatch, and they're tied on strings, so they may slide back, but I can pull them up just so I can keep storage with them. That's another thing with Evolve bags. You can hook a little thing to the inside. You can pull them front up if you need them to. But the only things I really don't, as far as big boxes, I don't keep in a black pack or something like that. I have a emergency kit as well in the very back of mine with all my tools I need to fix it. I keep a space like a space blanket and everything in there for heat because I have fallen in the water because I fish during the winter and everything to make a fire and keep warm like that. So I have the emergency thing in the back that floats. And I've been hit my kayak by a boat before, so I always make sure all my stuff floats. So that's really how I pack mine. Oh yeah, on Enid Lake, I got it fishing the St. Jude Classic kayak edition. I had a ski boat, a bad storm rolled in quick over the dam. We couldn't see it. And the ski boat was trying to get away. There's big rollers. I don't think they saw me. I had my PFD on and they clipped the front of my kayak. So
Wow. That's got to be a scary feeling.
it was because my motor was going 'cause I was trying to get to the bank. So when I went out, it knocked me out. It didn't flip my kayak, but my motor was going. It just kept going. Thankfully, on my XI3, after so long getting away from the remote, it shuts off. And I couldn't get back to it because of the waves. So I had to call somebody. And I always keep my phone tethered inside of my life jacket and on me. So, yeah, it wasn't a fun situation, but I knew there was another guy in a kayak close. I was able to call him, and he's able to come help me. And once he got me to my kayak, I just held him to the back of it and motored myself to the bank.
That is a crazy story. Well, we're glad it worked out. Unfortunately, we know sometimes those accidents don't work out the way we like it, but
Yeah, and I'm with Alex too as far as the PFD goes. I don't like the inflatables because Charlie Sanders had an inflatable and he fell under, didn't go all the way under enough to inflate it. So on the drive home, that thing exploded in the back of the Jeep of his him and his dad's Jeep. So I'm not a big inflatable person. I'm very much a on vest type.
okay, I got that, and that's what you gave me, Alex. So, Alex, same question to you. How do you figure out and organize your soft plastics in your bag?
I carry a lot. I carry way too much crap.
I know you do. We've
Uh,
talked about it before.
So I'll try and limit myself to one or two colors, and then I'll bring. You can't just bring one bag because they might be eating it. You might run out. So I'll try to bring 2 or 3 bags of each of those colors. And then I've got a black pack as well with a short stack on top of it. So I
I,
keep all my soft plastics in the short stack, and I keep all my tackle boxes, all my Plano stuff, or my groove stuff when I get that,
It's
and
coming. I got it.
in the black pack with crankbaits, jerk baits, stuff like that. And with those, I'll find 2 or 3 colors of something that I like, and I'll have 2 or 3 each of those colors in my boxes. I carry as much terminal tackle as I can.
yeah.
I'll like the little Spro double-sided ones,
Yep.
and I'll fill them up, with hooks and weights and stuff like that.
I've got a double sided as well, but it's not for my terminal tackle. It is a jig and bladed jig, like on the big side of them. It's like a big double thick one, Plano that makes,
Okay,
and
yeah,
half of it's all. It's probably got 40 bladed jigs. You open the other half, it's probably got 40 like swim jigs, football heads, and all that stuff too.
there you
So
go.
I try to condense stuff down, but I think I have 6 or 7 3700 class boxes in my black pack.
I got that. And those Evolve bags are legit.
Oh, I love them.
Like I had a bunch of them at the store, and they just kind of happened to end up, with my shit in. They're here at the house. Just let you know, right there. Here's a fishing question. John G wants to know: do you guys think top water is over? My answer is no, but it depends on where you're at. Thad, what about you?
No, I think certain top waters are over. Right now, I'm not going to throw a popper. I'm not going to throw a frog. I know a lot of people are, but I'm going to be throwing spooks, walking baits, especially over grass. Like if you find like if you're 10 foot of water and you've got grass going to the 6, 7 foot mark, walking the dog across it or walking it by timber and stuff, or even along rocks. Right now, it's just absolute killer for me. So I don't think top water's over. I think some top water's over, but not all of it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alex?
I think that top water's still there, especially with the warmer days we've been having here. I was out there yesterday, and there was top water blowups. So if you can be in the right spot at the right time, I think you can get some top water.
I'm saying just throw a buzzbait year round. Just throw a buzzbait year round right there. It always works. Pop up pond hopper. If you're going to get something to get out on the water, would you prefer a John boat or a kayak? What's the pluses and the minuses? And to me, John boat always was when I was growing up. I got one, but it was for my dad's pond. It was for the smaller kind of lakes where you don't have to. If you were paddling a John boat, 2 acres, 3 acres, 5 acres like that. But if you guys like to get out on the big lakes, I would think kayak would be the preferred
Yeah.
method for you two guys.
Well, so I grew up on a john boat, like taking my little 10-footer, even out on Sardis, big reservoirs, but I had a trolling motor on it.
Yeah.
That made a lot, and I took that john boat in some places I should have never taken it. Some on the big water, and it really depends. If I'm taking my little boy or something, I prefer that john boat. But if it's just me and I'm fishing for bass, kayak all day. Now, if I'm catfishing, I'm going to keep a bunch.
Yeah.
Probably the john boat.
Yeah. Which jumps me right into Ken Pruitt's next question. Where does Thad put all of those Mississippi crappie in his kayak? You got a cooler? He said, legit question, not being a smart aleck.
The reason I say that because Mississippi still has like 9 of the top 10 crappie lakes in the world, and
He said,
you can, yeah, well,
come on now.
look to the state to the right of me, they say crappie. To the left of me, they say white perch or sac-a-lait. Down in the bayou, I hear it all, but I'll carry on a stringer, or I've got a soft cooler. I'll put them in. But I mean, it's nothing to catch 3-pounder. We've caught well over 4 many a time, but it's soft cooler or depending on the time of the year. If it's during the cooler and the spawn and stuff, definitely on a stringer, just pulling it behind. But as it warms up, we got to worry about turtles and otters and alligators. So I don't like dragging a bunch of fish around with the gators.
I didn't even think about that. You get a stringer just on the back of your kayak, you get a big old gator come up and just nail that joker right there.
That's not fun. I've had it happen.
Oh, I bet you have. Cranking and yanking. He said, it's Monday, people. Hey, buddy, Monday nights are now kayak nights here. We're going to start doing kayak-specific podcast every Monday night.
Hey, cranking and yanking. You call them white perch, sac-a-lait, or crappie? Put that in the comments, and I want to see what you say.
If it's or crappie. Now, I'd like to see what he said. He's probably going to say sac-a-lait being Louisiana.
North Louisiana, they say crappie and white perch. It's down south. Once you get like south of Shreveport, you'll hear sac-a-lait a lot.
Well, we'll see what he answers when we get down there.
White perch. He said white perch.
Is that what he said? Oh, he answered already. See, I'm already way behind on the comments and the questions here. Tyler Shelnut, what made you guys choose a kayak over a bass boat? Was it money or just interest in a kayak? I only question money because of how much you guys put into them. So, it might not be a money issue. But what was it that made you get into a kayak over a bass boat?
So, go ahead, Alex.
For me, it was accidental. My wife wanted to go and get some kayaks to paddle around and drink some beers. So COVID was going on. So we went to Academy and we bought the only 2 kayaks that they had. By like the 3rd trip, I'm trying to figure out, what these things are on the kayak, and they're rod holders. They're built into it. I'm like, no kidding. People fish out of these things. Like, I didn't even know.
Right.
So I got a couple fishing rods, and she told me that I shouldn't do it because I wasn't going to stick with it, and I wasn't going to have fun, and everything else that a wife says to you, And now look at me.
That's nicer than what my wife says. What about you, Thad?
So I actually started off in a bass boat. Before I left for basic training, I was like 24 years old. I was single, had money. I bought me a nice, bass boat. Was fishing tournaments out of it, and then I was going to be stationed on the coast and sold it. Got hurt, came home, and wound up during COVID. Started watching YouTube videos of fishing, and I'd fish out of kayaks. As a biologist, we always have kayaks around. So when fishing up in Missouri as bear biologist, fish out of kayaks. So I was like, man, that'd be a lot of fun. Just give me a kayak and go fishing around and stuff like that. Started watching some guys on YouTube and it's like, holy crap, they're fishing tournaments out of these things. I can do that. And I bought a cheap paddle kind, and now I've got like the top of the line one, and it's an addiction.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, you mentioned your phone being tethered to you during that accident.
Yeah.
Stephen Sturgeon says, don't forget to talk about the importance of a phone tether. And so I guess given your, accident, you'd probably be really good to address that one.
Yeah, so my life jacket's got my zipper pocket right here, and inside it runs a I forget which one I have. It's not the Yak-Tech, it's the it's the other brand. Yeah, Rogue. I got the Rogue because it fits my phone better. And anytime I pull it out or something like that, it's just tethered to me no matter what. So even if I'm using it, something happens, I fall. I've still got it, and thankfully I did. So the phone tether, it comes in clutch. And I know y'all have asked me before. I wasn't wearing the robe last time.
I
I'm
just
wearing.
noticed it. I just
Yeah,
noticed.
I've got the robe and the cape. For those of you who don't know, when I got my master's degree, my college made me pay like almost $200 for this stupid thing. Like I got a cape and a robe and everything to wear it for 5 minutes. So I was like, I'm gonna get my money's worth out of it. I've got a master's degree in conservation. I might as well look like a professor when I'm doing these podcasts.
Absolutely. And while we're at it, go ahead and shout out all your socials and your YouTube channel.
So Instagram is Thad Moody Outdoors, TikTok Thad Moody Outdoors, YouTube is Thad Moody Outdoors, and that's where I run the Bassin and Biology podcast. And a new episode dropped this morning, so that's what's going on with that one.
Sounds like you just made a sale on your Shopify or something.
I wish.
Yeah, no, me too. Now, of course, Cranking and Yanking, I see, I bypassed it, but he did have his live scope little snark comment up there about 24-inch live scope on a kayak and all that. We'll let him slide. Here's a good one right here. Sham for real. At what point do we deem too much gear as unsafe in a kayak? That's a good question. Because, I mean, Alex, I don't know that you can stick anything else on yours.
No. And if it ever did flip over, I would have hell getting it turned back over.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, once you get two big graphs on there and a motor and a live scope pole and stuff, you're really, if you turn over, you're gonna have trouble getting it turned back.
I try to keep mine with the weight. I try to say I'm a bigger guy. I might not look it, but I'm 6'2", 6'3", 225, 230. So mine's really a weight thing. I want to make sure I'm always 50 pounds under the weight reg. That way, bad waves, something like that, I'm not worried about losing stuff or me sinking. But the big thing is if I can't like move around or stand up and fish, I've got too much crap on there. So
Yeah. Well, let's just say the robe is very slimming. Like that. Now, Alex, this is for you, and there's a little story behind this. Alex will like this. Why do more Karens yell at bass boat guys, but not as much as kayakers around docks? He sent me a picture, Alex, of a woman yelling at a boater, and then he sent me a picture of you by the dock. I guess he pulled it off of one of your things, and there's no woman there fussing at all or something like that. But in all honesty, you two guys, I'm sure you're around docks. Do you think people see you in a kayak and they might be okay? They're fishing, but they're in a kayak as opposed to these bass boats pulling up. Could that be a real thing?
Oh, it's 100%. But I've had him yell at me in the kayak too, though. I had a lady on the Lake of the Ozarks turn a sprinkler on me.
I had one guy try to tell me that what I was doing was illegal over here on Lanier. So
I've had him tell me that too, and then they saw me like the next day at a presentation when I was like showing like the local fisheries guy. I was like, I know what's legal, bud.
Yeah, I just think some people like the fuss. I got to switch my glasses here right there for a second. But yeah, he sent me that picture. There we go. And I thought it was funny. That's just the way Ken is. Now, how about this? Aaron Young took my first ever trip to Chickamauga today. Caught fish it says jumps. I'm not exactly sure what jumps are. I'm sure he's gonna might be junk, but couldn't get them to hit anything until I pulled out a very small blade bait and burned it. Oh, he caught fish in the junk. I guess they were busting topwater because he says, "Where's
Oh
your
yeah,
fish busting?" Okay,
so
busting.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite things to fish like that is, and Alex tell you, I'm king of the underspin. I always have 1 to 2 underspins tied on. That's what I caught my 9.4 on. I put up 119 inches in a tournament on an underspin. I've won mini tournament on them, and I love throwing little bitty 3.5 to 2.75 inch swim baits on underspins and burning it, especially when it comes to them blowing up and schooling like that on wolf packs. I don't know what it is, but that is my go-to on catching. And I know it worked really well in Gunnersville. That's what Charlie was catching all his fish on in Gunnersville too, was an underspin on in the MRE.
Well, I guess that would be a good one for him next time Aaron goes and they're breaking. Just bust that thing right there.
Yeah, underspin like quarter ounce,
Yeah.
jig head underspin one. That's my go-to.
What about you, Alex? Because I know you know some different things in them sometimes. I guess it just depends on what you got.
yeah,
Time
I throw the underspin a ton. I
Yep.
have ever since I started watching Tactical Bass and I started throwing an underspin. I like the spot chokers, and I really like this time of year the the 3-inch Prodigy or the 2.75-inch Echoes are money. And if you got fish busting, really, most of the time you could probably get bit on whatever you throw in there, unless it's just too big or something like that. I like the risers. The risers work really good. A jerkbait works real good. You can throw a jerkbait in there. Even after they've stopped busting, you can throw a jerkbait in there with no live scope or anything
Yeah.
and still pull fish out of it.
I'll tell you what I've found works really well when they're busting and they're kind of slowing down on or about to stop. If you'll throw a wacky worm in there, like you'll skip one to throw a wacky worm in it, they'll absolutely spin back around and hit them. Because I've had them on top water, miss a blow up on top water. I'll skip a wacky worm up there and they'll hit it. But especially those blowing up, it looks like a fish that's stunned and just sinking.
I was gonna give you that just because I had to find it. I knew I had it right there.
Well, you got to think too. There's fish. There's fish busting, and then there's fish underneath hanging out.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Bait to fall down after they knock the crap out of it.
There you go. Cranking and Yankin's 15 miles south of Shreveport.
Okay. Yeah, that's
all that. So yeah, he's got to be a sockeye or white perch kind of guy.
Yeah, he's a white perch. It's so funny they call him white perch. There's actually a fish up north called a white perch. It's not. It's
yeah. Cranking and Yankin, I will eat more food than you do, big guy.
What are we doing? What is? Oh, Alex used all his. Okay, I see it. I get
He's jealous because I'm fit.
Well, there was another thing too where Tyler said you've only been fishing since COVID with a question mark, Alex. I think that's when you got in a kayak.
Yeah, no, that's when I really started fishing heavy. I mean, I've been fishing my whole life, but not 3 or 4 times a week.
Right. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, he's on the water all the damn time now. Now you go, Charlie's. Is it Charlie Sanders Fishing? Okay, good. Always tether your phone, otherwise you will end up donating your phone to the fish.
Yeah,
very smart right there.
Yeah, no, he's donated multiple phones to the fish.
I've done it too. Steven says, plus the tether keeps from making phone offerings to the lake gods. Exactly the same thing. So, I agree with that. And especially, I finally came into this century and got a new iPhone because I still had the push button on mine until yesterday. So I'm going to make sure I got to keep it or my wife's going to be really pissed. So I need to get a tether if I'm going to go out. Right here, Papa Pond Hopper. What age is a good age to take the kiddos out on a boat to fish? I got 2 little girls and they love bank fishing, and I've been thinking about getting them something to take them out on. And I think if they're fishing right now, it's a good age. That's just me.
Yeah, that's all a personal preference thing. Is how comfortable are you in the water? Are they water? Have you taught them basic water safe and stuff like that? And are you with one? I've got a son. I got a 3-year-old. But having 2, are you able to keep an eye on both of them and make sure they're both kind of safe? So that's to me is a very personal preference on it. It's what you feel comfortable with. But I'm with you, Dan. If they're fishing right now, you're good.
I'm still gonna be playing around with these things right here, boys. So I'm gonna try to figure it out as we go.
You get them an infant or toddler life jacket, something that's comfortable for them. Make it fun for them. Make it comfortable for them, and go out and have a good time.
Absolutely. Let's see. How about this one? John G. Thad Alex. What color MRE on the underspin? And I guess that's lake dependent too, right?
Yeah. You can't ever go wrong with the shad.
Yeah.
Yeah, shad or the blue herring one.
Yeah, the blue herring one is good. I like the meringue too. The pearl white with the chartreuse.
So the pearl white one is what I lost the one where the fish was so big I stuck my hand in its mouth to try to grab it. That was way bigger than that 9, and it was the trailer on that chatterbait, and I put the chatterbait in my thumb. But yeah, MREs. I like I said, the white pearl, the blue herring, or the shad. That's my go-tos.
There you go. And I guess if you were on a lake where bluegill was your primary forage, you might switch over a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a dark gill color too.
Yeah,
tastes bluegill real well.
It does, but surprisingly, even on the bluegill heavy lakes, that shad that's what's got the real dark on the black part on the back of it, or the white one is still it. I throw it up there with the bluegill and they still smoke it.
I got you right here. Now this is something from Cranking and Yanking that I think a lot of people don't talk about, but a lot more people do than we think about. My go-to on busting fish is a rattle trap.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of guys that will chunk those. First of all, you got to have one tied on though. A lot of guys don't have one tied on, but if you got one tied on, that is a good choice.
So the only time I ever have really good luck on a rattle trap on busting fish is during the winter, and I'll yo-yo it through them. But that's about the only time I really like. If I see them busting, they never really hit the rattle trap for some reason. But during the winter months, like upcoming months, if I can find them like that on some shad, I'll yo-yo it, and that's effective for me. But other than that, I just toss out rattle traps kind of deep or bust them off rocks.
Okay, I got you. Here's a good question, kayak specific question right here. If it will pull up, come on, there we go. What's the strategy like for a kayak tournament? Obviously, you guys can't run and gun. Is it purely a numbers game? And Thad, I want you to start because you just recently won a tournament, a pretty big one, right?
I did. It was our
Here we go. He's got.
yeah, the tournament champions and big fish.
Hold on a second. Let me hold that back up. There we go. I want everybody to see it. There you go. You look good right there.
So my strategy on that with a kayak, if I can pre-fish, I look for things I'm comfortable with, and I look, if I want to fish this, how far of a shot is it from the ramp or wherever I'm going to launch? Because I mean, I've made in a day like a 14 or 15 mile round trip, but I lose a lot of fishing time like that. So it's very much a prepping and being comfortable and trying to figure out what's going to happen and make sure you have the right baits. I truly believe being a kayak angler, if you go from a bass boat where you can run, you can store tons of tackle and rods and stuff like that. Going to a kayak will actually make you a better angler overall because you have to do more with less in a smaller area.
Yeah.
So it's very much you have to I study lake maps, I study creel surveys, I study weather patterns. Like I know, if it's a full moon, if I'm going out fishing after a full moon, I'm gonna have a great morning bite to about 8 a.m. It's gonna shut off. Then about 1:30 to 3, you're gonna have a fantastic afternoon bite once their metabolism has kicked back up and they're no longer digesting that, where they gorge themselves at night. Because on the full moons, they're very much a nocturnal predator, which I know Alex fishes a lot at night. On these big full moons, I bet you tear them up, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Especially like the big blood moon or strawberry moon.
Yeah.
And it fires them up.
The big blood moon, the strawberry moon, you got the beaver moon, all these different
You
moons.
got the blue moon.
Blue moon. You got to have all that. All right, so let's see. Now, Cranky and Yankin, we were talking about with Papa Pond Hopper about kids. Now, he said, took my 8-year-old granddaughter out last weekend. Make sure they have their life jackets on. I ain't ready to have 2 kids in the boat yet. And I understand that too.
Yeah.
But I think it all depends too about if you're going to put them in a boat, sometimes you can, start them off doing a little brim fishing, those kind of things, keep them busy and occupied. Just get them on the water, though. That's the biggest thing, and make sure they got their life jacket on.
100%. I'm from like a very backwoods area. It's Mississippi. It's all backwoods. I'm from a very grew up on a dirt road backwoods area. I was like 6 or 7 out in a 10-foot john boat by myself, trolling around in a lake. So I don't know if a lot of people. It's just a different generation. But like he said, he's not ready for 2 kids in a boat, and that's the perfect answer. He ain't ready. Don't have it.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of the way we had a lake in our backyard. I call it a pond, but from the time 5th grade on, had a 1436 Alumacraft. I still got it out there, just going off into I guess it was a different time. We're talking the 80s. So
No,
speaking,
this was the 90s. I'm only 34. Alex is older than I am.
Yeah.
Alex, how old are you again?
38.
You want something that's going to make you feel old? Do you remember the song by Winger, 17? She's the only. Do you know? Do you know that woman would be 53 years old today?
Oh wow!
The 17-year-old girl he was singing about is 53 years old today, which is my age. Just something to let you know if you really want to feel freaking old, that's a song that couldn't come out these days either. But back then in the 80s, we were just different right here. He's talking back again about the rattle trap that he was throwing on the jumpers.
Yeah. Those are my 2 go-to colors too, cranking and yanking. Like I've got probably 30 of them total.
Yeah, chrome black back cloudy, chrome blue back sunny. I get that too. Steven Sturgeon says, I catch shad out of the school with a rattle trap. Hey, you're catching something though. That's all that matters right there. Let's see here. How about this? This is a good question because we see TikToks about stuff like this and little reels or whatever. This might be more apt for you, Thad. You ever had a run into
Um,
a snake or a gator on your kayak?
Alex, I actually was texting our group. At this tournament of champions, I hooked into a water moccasin in my kayak, and it took me a minute to get it off because I hooked it in the very tail end of it. So it took me a second to get it off. But I've had multiple water moccasin snakes come in my kayak with me. I've caught
Uh,
turtles out there. I've
no.
had beavers. I've whacked more than one alligator with a paddle. Um, I'm a little do you realize I'm a little different? Like I don't know if you looked at all my Instagram. Like I've swam with sharks. I've got pictures of me with 60 pounds of dead fish when I'm spearfishing. There's a tiger shark swimming 20 feet from me. I'm a little different. I'm a little off. So
So what he's saying is he's got the gonads to do this kind of stuff. Not me.
it
I'm
it
sorry. Listen, I want to swim with the sharks. I would do that if I'm in a cage, some great whites. I'd like to do that, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna
Oh
be.
no, I'm out. That's actually a picture of me someone took. I had it tattooed on myself. I'm out spearfishing and have dead fish that I just shot strapped to me when the shark's coming around.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's either ballsy or dumb. I don't know which one. We'll go with
It's
ballsy.
it it's a fine line and I tow it.
Exactly. Now this is from Ken again, and I believe this 100%. And Alex, you've heard me say this many, many times. Kayakers are the best at promoting their sponsors. Having conversation in inches is still odd, but much respect. I have always said that if I had to choose between a boater or whatever kayaker, and I had one sponsorship to give, I would always give it to the kayaker because I don't know what it is about. I've always said you guys are a little off, a little off centered, which is a good thing. But there is something to be said about the way kayakers promote their products and their sponsors' products. And I think they're better on social media. I don't know what it is. Is that something you've noticed, Thad?
100%, and I really think the reason is that we're thankful to be getting recognition. We're thankful for, you know, these people seeing promise in a kayak versus these, big old glitter rockets, as some people call them. When I got, picked up by Lawrence, it was fantastic. It's like we want to get into this market, and I promote Lawrence every chance I get because it was an awesome opportunity for me. The same way, with Evolve Fishing when I partner with them, a tactical fishing company when I partner with them, as Spearpoint Hooks. It's the fact that they have these boaters and they can go after these big people like that, but something about us kayakers, they really see potential in us, and the fact that we're willing to promote them more for the simple fact that we're thankful. I think a lot of people are just thankful for it that we're getting recognition for it. It's a great feeling for it.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that 100%. Now, getting ready to do something here. First off, though, Steve Billington says the cage is for the girls, Danny. Listen, let's just start off with the cow. I'm talking about I want some 20-foot great whites come up and try to just slam me through the cage. I think that would be okay to watch from a cage. Now, I've mentioned to you guys eventually this podcast. Can you see the questions over there, Alex?
Yeah.
All right. So eventually this podcast is going to belong to Alex. I'm going to warm him up and everything. But Alex, for the next few minutes, I want you to take over the show and you start asking the guests some questions. And I'm going to sit back here and play. I'm going to play a little bit on the views and everything.
Okay. Okay. So Thad, in your club, do you guys have an off limits or no info rule?
Not really. I fish with a few different clubs, and some do have different rules. The kayak clubs, so Mississippi's weird when it comes to kayak fishing. We've got
Oh,
3 or 4 good clubs, but they don't. Sometimes they intermingle well. It depends on who's the TD for them that year. But there's not really off limit rules for info and stuff like that. But again, we're smaller. We have 20 guys show up to a tournament. It's a fantastic day. It's a fantastic tournament for us. But it's very much a not anything goes, but there's not really an off limits for information and stuff type thing.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same way here. We don't cut you off for fishing. You can fish right up until the day before. You have to be off the water by a certain time. But
Yeah, we do have that.
those, it's, I think the only thing we really have is like don't take any guided trips or anything like that.
we have the don't fish super close. You can ask somebody if they're catching something, but don't like go pester them and look and see what they're doing, or like be hovering around their kayak when they're getting their stuff ready if they don't want you there. That's kind of like a taboo no go thing. And some of the guys in our clubs do go out and fish bigger tournament scenes. I will say ours is, for the majority, 90% really good guys, close knit group of guys and girls, and we fish well. But some of us go fish, the bigger tournaments. And one of our guys I know have got disqualified because he was so used to our lax rules. He wouldn't fish with the big tournaments, and he broke a rule. He's like, I'm not even used to this. So,
Yeah, you got to read the rules, man. They're
oh
there.
yeah,
Every time you switch, you got to read them.
Here you go, Alex.
What's up?
I'm gonna throw a question up for you. I didn't know if you saw it.
Yeah, that's really what we were just talking about.
Okay, that's the one. Okay, let's see. I suck.
yeah. Good job, Danny.
Listen, like if you see one, you want me to pull it up, yell at me.
Ken must have heard you talk about spear point because he wants to know if you use the drop shot hook yet.
I haven't used the drop shot hook yet. My big ones on the spear point are I love the 2-aught finesse hook.
Yeah,
I thought, dude, that is my wacky worm go to. That is I use that on so many different baits. So I absolutely love that. And then a lot of the like the smaller, HG hooks for the combat crawls and stuff like that. I mean, spear points have come in clutch from this year. I actually did an experiment with the 2-aught finesse hook. I wish they made a 3-aught. Hopefully that comes one day, but I did a hookup ratio test, the same bait, same line, same everything. And I went from like 6 hookups and actually getting them in all the way to like, I think 8 and maybe 9 was my best with the spear point out of 10. But once it pinned them, it had a much better get in ratio for me.
Okay, Alex, did you see Steve Billington down there? He said, "Get closer to your mic or talk louder, dude."
I don't have a mic. I don't have a nice studio like Danny does over there yet.
Danny doesn't have a studio. This is a Amazon podcast mic and all that stuck to the back of the computer. Now, did you cover this one?
So yeah, I'd have to read and check them, which is bad on me because I am on the board of directors. Pretty sure it's just no guided trips or anything like that within 30 days of the tournament.
Let me ask you, this is a question from me because again, I am learning the kayak scene. You guys are in it. And it might be more for Alex and Thad, but Thad, you can kind of talk about Mississippi and all that. For somebody that's, say, a beginning kayaker or just getting into it and they want to fish tournaments, do they jump into something like the GAKFL, or is there a tier down below and then they work their way up? What's the best route for them?
Around here, I'd say go the Georgia Kayak Fishing League, the GAKFL. You've got the AKFL, the Appalachian Kayak Fishing League, which they do a lot of more stuff on the Tennessee TVA lakes and stuff up north. But, I mean, those are both great options. The AKFL is like all cash. They have an in-person captains meeting in the morning before the tournament. So you really got to wake up early. You got to be there. So, yeah, there is no info in the rules for GAKFL.
Yeah, I think you said yes, it's in the rules.
Yeah.
Sham did. So it's in the rules like that. What about out yonder, Thad?
So on ours, we actually have invited people to come. Now they want to get into it. We've invited them to come, and we've actually some people had backup kayaks. Like, hey, look, come fish my kayak. And I've seen guys that the first time they were in like a Pelican, just trying to learn everything. I watched him like have 2 fish flop out, and he's like, "It's my first time." He was getting real frustrated. I don't want someone who's even though I'm fishing against them, I don't want someone to get so frustrated that the first time out there fishing a tournament and they just mess up. They don't want to come back. So I pedaled just like, hey man, you might give you some advice. And a lot of times they're open to that. And I was like, put your net up like this, put your board in your net. And so they flop, they go more than likely they go into the net. And I always bring extra catch board. Who's like, I don't have a catch board. Guys always have extra catch board. They always have extra something. And if it means getting these guys out there, because I fish top of the sip a lot, Mississippi Queen Sea is a real good one around here. So Central Kayak Fishing and Pine Belts they're all good ones. And we fish with the North or the West Tennessee Bassjackers are a huge club, and they come down to Mississippi and fish with us some. And they're always open to inviting new people. and stuff like that. I bring kids out and they fish these tournaments with us. How I got Charlie and these fishing all these tournaments with us, and it's just getting them started off like that and helping them along the way is how we grow our sport. Because without it, and they'll tell you, I've had a lot of guys switch from boat to kayak. They said the kayak guys are so much nicer than the boat people. I was like, 95% of us are.
Yeah, there's always that 5%. You got to, that's in everything for sure.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
Alex explained to me as a new guy about the online tournaments.
Okay, so the online tournaments, you've got like the KBF, kayak bass fishing, very popular. It's, I mean, if you're tournament fishing in a kayak and you don't know what the KBF is, then you need to look it up. They do some really cool stuff. He's got all kinds of different options and ways to qualify for their championship and stuff like that. So you'll go and you'll make like an account on Fishing Chaos. And I mean, there's
What are you laughing at?
no other online option for me here, Steve.
Oh,
So
Steve.
you go
Yeah.
on Fishing Chaos and you can find the KBF on there and make your membership and get going and stuff. And it's pretty easy. You get a tournament card. You write down the code when you get it, and you go out and catch some fish.
Yeah. So I actually am a tournament director here in Mississippi for a youth organization for their online tournament every year. I help sponsor. I kind of help promote the Mississippi 4-H kayak fishing program. But you can fish out of a boat, bank, or a kayak with this one because we don't want to exclude any kids. We want to get them out fishing. Period. And I'm help sponsor it, and I tournament direct all of it. And I really think it's a great option, especially for the youth doing this to get into the sport because when we do have an in-person tournament every year too, but some kids can't always make that. A parent can't always be off that exact weekend, or they can't have someone to carry them. But if you do these month-long tournaments, it's a way to get these kids outdoors at some point where their parents can take them fishing. And that's why I'm a big fan of our online tournament here. I do fish a bunch of online tournaments too. And I've caught cheaters in online tournaments, as a tournament director. And if they're adults, they're gone. If they're the kids in this tournament, we sit down, we have a talk with them, explain this stuff. I've never had a repeat offender when it comes to that. See that silver punk.
Yeah.
I've never had
Hold up,
I've never had a kid repeat offender in the online tournaments, and it is easier to cheat in online tournaments. We've seen this whole big situation going on, but for me, the online tournaments is a good way to get kids involved because their parents can take them, and it's not set to a specific weekend.
How about this comment? Online is a great way to make mistakes and not feel silly.
Yeah.
Dude, Steven, everyone makes mistakes. I've only been kayak fishing for like 3.5, maybe 4 years now, like on the tournament side of things, and I still make dumb mistakes. I do.
Yeah, I
Like,
can see that. I mean, not you. When I say that's not what I meant. I did not mean.
Dang, Danny.
No, that's not what I meant. But we all do. We all do. That didn't come out right. That didn't come out right. Alex, we are caught up pretty much on the comments, so now it's off with you, buddy. You just take the show and run with it.
Yeah. Okay. I see John. He said he's usually in 3 or 4 online tournaments a month, keeps him sharp. And that's, you don't have to go in and do the KBF membership and stuff. There's really tons of different options. If you download the Fishing Chaos or the Tourney X app, you can download both of them. And you can really find a whole lot of different ways to get out there and get your feet wet, before you go to a GAKFL or something, if that's what you want to do. Because, there's $100 kayak tournaments out there already.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I think the highest entry I've ever paid for a kayak tournament is like 300 or something.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of money's involved in kayak tournaments compared to bass boats? I mean, how much does it cost to get into one?
Usually
So,
$5 or $75.
yeah, on ours, I think it's like $40 plus an optional $10 big bass fee. Some of them are $30 plus a $10 optional. But I think Bass Masters this year was $250 when I went fished it. I know the big bass 250 is $250 to enter. Big fish alone wins 10 grand in that one. Yeah.
That's a nice one right there.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's money. There's definitely money to be involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how much you're willing to pay for it.
That's right. You see that in there, Alex?
Yeah. Wendell, Chad Hoover, Drew Gregory. Yeah, I didn't watch the podcast. Um, I'm trying not to throw shade or anything. Uh,
I am supposed to go speak at Drew Gregory's adventure series down in when it's I think Tallahassee, Florida. He wanted me to come be a guest speaker there, like at the captain's meeting the night before.
man,
So
he's
I,
a
dude, he is. I fished against him at Toledo Bend, and he whipped me. I had an awful day one, and it knocked me out of it. But yeah, dude, Drew's cool. I dealt with him, and as far as say, we've all have different opinions with other people, but I will say, what happened a week ago with Charlie Sanders, all that, Chad and Wendell did step up big, and I do thank them for that. They definitely helped that kid out.
yeah.
Okay. So for somebody like me that has no idea what we're talking about, this ain't the guy in the back of the boat, is it?
No.
Okay.
This is Thad's prodigy. So Thad, if you want to take it, you can take it.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
So I'm
so
totally there, buddy.
there's a kid here who is probably in the next 5 years you're going to see on the national stage in multiple arenas. He started, really fishing tournaments with me and in my 4-H program when he was 13. 14 years old, he qualified for the KBF Nationals, went and competed, and he did very well. I think he had like a top 30, top 20 finish. He was 14. This year at 15, youngest ever to cash a check in the native power hour. He went competed at the KBF Nationals again after day 2. He was sitting in 9th place out of, well over 100 people. And then the straps broke on his kayak, and kayak sliding down the middle of the highway at 70 plus miles an hour completely destroyed it.
Yeah.
And whereas we saw with the cheaters how the kayak community came together against them, this just shows you how great of a community we have. Me and Chad Hoover, we got on the phone. I made posts, called everyone I knew, cashed in all of my favors I had completely. Me and Chad, we got with each other, and Native Kayaks is getting him a brand new Titan 12.5X, which is what he had. He had one just like mine. He's getting you one of those. He's got a new black pack. He's got a Malone trailer now because his trailer axles actually blew out too. The bearings, everything completely burned out, all of it. And what sucks for this kid is he's not like you'll see some of these people who are out there in these $10,000, $20,000 kayak setups. That's a lot of their parents' money and stuff like that. This is a 15-year-old who has mowed yards ever since he was 13 years old to buy every bit of fishing gear he has, get his kayaks to pay his way to this stuff. He hit, as his dad said, he hitchhikes with me to all these tournaments on the national stage that he's old enough to fish. And to watch a kid who has worked his butt off to earn what he has just get destroyed was horrible for me because he fishes with me all the time. And it's Charlie Sanders Fishing, which you can find on. He's got a YouTube and Instagram channel. His parents monitor all his stuff, so don't be weird in the comments. I say that every time. He's on my podcast today that launched. The Triumph and Tragedy, the Charlie Sanders story that launched on my channel today, and it's great to watch this, and that's what I like about kayak fishing too. It gives the kids who can't go buy a $30,000 bass boat an opportunity to get to the professional fishing world. And that's what's great about it, is seeing all these great things happen and watching a kid who works his butt off and has a higher fish IQ fishing wise than probably I do go out there and do great things. It's just something fantastic, especially in these youth programs I help run and help sponsor. So that's one other thing I love the kayak fishing world is they come together and support those who deserve it. And he was one who deserved it at that time when that tragedy happened.
That's actually refreshing to hear instead of all the normally the negative crap that we get right there.
Yeah, I mean the kid got out there after losing his kayak. He was loaned a kayak and got out there like 2 or 3 hours late and still put together, I think, a top 10 finish, right, Thad?
No, he wound up on the third day. He had a 32nd or 34th place finish out of the top 100. But
Okay.
he, out of 100 guys, he
Yeah.
missed the morning bite completely. He was frazzled. The only tackle he had was what he bought at Academy the night before because his tackle was he lost everything minus his rods. I mean, I'd show you. It's holding my iPad up, but I had lent him my active target 2 system, and you can put your finger in it because it was in his kayak when it hit the pavement. So When I say he lost everything, he went out there with a handful of soft plastics and 4 rod and reels, and that's it, and still put together a top 30 finish. The
That's
kid's going somewhere.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Good.
That's fun to watch. All right, Alex, there you go.
Do I think kayak tournament fishing is getting too expensive? I'm gonna say no because it's still cheaper than a boat tournament for the most part. I don't know what bass. I don't think we have a Bass Nation boat trail, do we?
Yeah, there's a Bass Nation boat trail.
I'm talking about in our state, local to us. I know somebody
Uh,
was saying that they wish we did,
I think there is one.
but
Um,
I'm sure it's every bit of 250 plus per entry.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't think the kayak things. I think the kayak world is more as expensive. You want to get it because I still fish. I've lost against guys who are out there in a sit-in paddle kayak still, and they have like 3 rods, a handful of tackle, and they're paddling around. There's no motor, no pedal drive, and they just go out there and catch fish. I mean, the kayak world is what you make it,
Yeah.
and as simple as that. So I think that sometimes the entry fees can be high for like a Bassmasters or something event with us, 250, but a lot of your local trails are 100 and less, and guys are going up there with $100 kayak and bringing home $1,000 in prizes.
With the Bassmaster and stuff, you're really paying for that top tier competitive
Y-
level. You're fishing against hammers, you
Yeah, the
know.
best of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they pay out 10,000 plus too. So I mean, it's the payouts there for what you put into it.
That's pretty cool. So there's real money involved.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But what do you think about when he says getting expensive? Are you guys experiencing kind of like the in the bass boat world where you have the haves and the have-nots, and you got people that are for facing against it, but then you always hear a lot about can't afford it and all that, and that we hear it all the time in the bass, in the bass boat world. How about in the kayak world? Do you ever hear any of that?
Yeah, here and there, but
I'm
yeah,
trying to.
I'm the same. I feel the same way about the kayaks as I do with the boat stuff. Uh, Go out there and fish. If you're good with something, you're good with it. It's if you can't afford a $1,000 live scope setup, then maybe don't fish a $250 entry fee tournament. But if you can't afford the live scope, you really can't afford the tournament either. You know what I
See,
mean?
I'm kind of the opposite on that. I agree with you in some aspects, but so right now you can go to Bass Pro and get an Eagle Eye 9, which is front facing sonar Milo Rants,
Mm-hmm.
for $7.99. It's on sale right now. If you're first responder or something like that, you get even more off. You're a club member. It's like club member. You get their credit card, whatever. $7.29. That's as much as you're gonna pay for any fish finder. So you can get forward facing sonar. At this tournament champions when I fished it, I didn't turn on my live scope or not, but my active target too. I didn't turn it on until an hour left in the tournament. Well, 8 o'clock turns out I already had big fish and big bag won. I'd already won the tournament by 8 a.m. and never turned on my front facing sonar. So, and I know a lot of people who fish, the Bassmaster thing like that without front facing sonar. I didn't really use it at all when I went to Bassmasters down there. I used my side scan a lot more. I really think it's, how well you can read stuff
Yeah.
too. But does having, forward facing sonar clear, dead water help? Of course it does. It eliminates that and gives you more time fishing where the fish are. But as I talked about last time I was on here and on my podcast, Texas did a huge study and found out that people using forward facing sonar are only catching 1 to 2 more bass on per trip. They are high quality bass, they're only catching 1 or 2 more. And
Yeah.
I've won more tournaments without using front facing sonar than I have with front facing sonar.
I actually haven't even fished a tournament with live scope yet.
Have you
You not
not?
really?
No.
How about this question though? We always, for some reason, it always gravitates to forward facing sonar when we talk about equipment and stuff like that. I'm gonna ask both of you this question for a beginner kayaker, and then you can work your way on up. What's the single most important piece of equipment that they can use? Is it starting out? Is it the rods, the reels? What do they need first before they even worry about getting up to forward facing sonar?
A comfortable life jacket that you'll be wearing for 10 plus hours a day and you don't want to take it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other than a life jacket, let's
Besides
go
a
to the
life
next
jacket,
one. Besides a life
a
jacket, yeah.
good paddle. man, you need a good paddle, something that you're not going to be leaning over to get your paddle strokes and stuff. You really want a comfortable seat. If you can't be comfortable out there, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
It's fair enough. I agree with that.
And
John, oh, go ahead.
I really think too, your rods. So when I first started, and I'm horrible. I'm probably the world's worst about matching my rods and reels to what they're supposed to be. Find you one or two good medium heavy rods, and I for years I threw everything on a medium heavy. Period. Frogging, flipping, crankbait, everything. Find you one or two good medium heavy rods. They're very useful. They're very widespread for tackle. That's the you use majority of everything on them. It's a buy once, cry once situation, but find you two good ones, and that'll cover pretty much everything.
yeah,
Okay, that's fair enough. That's a Kim Pruitt. For charity tournaments, we need to allow kayakers with regular bass boats and let the kayak guys put in at any ramp to help raise more money. I was trying to figure out how to make that happen with the Toys for Tots. We've talked about doing a kayak before, but we just for some reason we can't seem to make that happen. But we need to figure that out for sure.
yeah,
Let me see if I can find you guys some. A lot of guys are talking about getting a used system. You can get an LVS 32 for like $300-400 if you want to get in, just get a start, things like that. And then how about cranking and yanking? I think this is gonna be for you there, Thad. Let's see what he says. Why do I always hear people say they catch as many fish without it as they do with it? Please explain to me the point. What's the point of it if that's the case?
So, I think that it's more of I may be up there if with it, I can eliminate dead water. So without it, it may take me, 8 hours to catch six good fish. With it, I can probably do it in 2 hours. It's a eliminate dead water, kind of help finding the underwater schoolers, and even looking to see how they're reacting to your baits. That way, I know I've seen them before where I throw a crankbait at them and watching on active target too. As they're running away from the crankbait. Well, that same school, I toss out a speed worm or something like that, and they smoke it, or a bladed jig and they smoke it. It's more. I use it more not to specifically target fish, but to see how they react to the baits I'm throwing. That way, and if I get, a large enough, if I have it happen 3 or 4 fish, I know that they ain't crankbait ain't gonna be it today. But a Texas rig or a jig or a speed worm may be it today. So it's more, I use it more to eliminate fish and see the reaction, see how fast my baits are falling and how deep they're actually going, as I do to say, oh, there's that fish. I'm gonna work it for 2 hours. If I can't get a fish to bite in 10 minutes, one fish, I move on.
yeah.
I'm very much like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that misconception, but the way you just used it is perfect. And Christine Fisher started in a kayak. I think there's a lot of big name anglers that started in a kayak or fish out of a kayak when they're not in a bass boat. They're
Oh,
versatile on both.
Jordan Lee fishes multiple kayak tournaments. Jordan Lee's a
Yep.
big kayak fisherman.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. So let me ask you this: we always kind of gravitate here towards bass fishing and all that. Other types of fishing, I've seen like Christine Fisher. I mean, she's going after muskie,
Mm-hmm.
different things. Is the kayak more versatile than a bass boat as far as where it can put you?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you can drag it down and put it in almost anywhere.
Yeah. So I do a lot of catfishing out of my kayak. Especially on the 10 tom, and I can get back in the sticks where these big flatheads are up in these big brush piles that's right along the bank and stuff that a boat normally can't get to. I use it for I catfish on my kayak, I bow fish out of my kayak, I go snagging for spoonbill, I chase big alligator gar, I fly fish out of my kayak.
He dances
Um,
kayak.
I actually am if I pull a tag this year, I am going after gators in my kayak this year. If I hook into a 13 or 14 footer, I'm not 100%. I don't have a full plan for it yet, but I have an idea. It's not a great idea. My wife doesn't like the idea, but I've got an idea of what I'm going to do.
What is it?
um, I'm gonna hold on for dear life and tire them out, and I'm gonna noose it and put a 410 number 6 shot in the back of the head, tie a bunch of life jackets around, and float it out.
Did you see that? Kind of like the old man in the sea kind of thing.
Hey, it's funny you say that though. Last year I pulled out a 10 plus footer, and I was in a 10-foot John boat with it, and I had to call somebody, and they brought their bigger boat for us to put it in to get it out because I was gonna have to float it out too.
That's great. Let me ask you this is just for me about alligators and all that. As far as eating them, is it
Yeah.
like catfish or something like that where the younger ones are actually better eaten than if you get a big old one?
I've eaten. It depends on how you cook them, really, and how you prepare them. The bigger, older ones, you soak their meat for a good while in buttermilk, fry them up like that. But also, like last year, we had an 8.5 footer and a 6 footer that we pretty much just skinned and barbecued it during the Mississippi State versus Florida game out in the junction right by the stadium. So we had this giant smoker going with two alligators, and it's good. You just take a fork and eat it. You just pick it straight off of it.
You want to talk about Mississippi State football, or you want to just
Oh,
bypass that?
no, we gone, bud.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up. I knew
Oh,
you were a big fan.
oh, it's rough.
Check that out right there. That comment, Alex.
I catch less bass with my 4204.
Don't
That's
you
a
think?
you problem, War Eagle.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
don't you think sometimes people they buy all that and then it takes them kind of away from what made them a good angler or their strengths?
100%.
I
that or they buy it and they expect it to make them a good angler.
Yeah, it's either going to make you better or it's going to make you worse.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone up there. My first kayak tournament, I had two rod and reels, and I won it out of a paddle kayak facing guys who had the Gen ones active targets and stuff like that
Mhm.
because I was stuck to my guns. And even with it now, I mean, I'm still winning. It's made winning. I almost relied on it too much when I first got it, and now I use it to clear dead water, and then I fish my style. But people buy it and expect it to make them a great fisherman, and it's not going to.
Yeah, they don't get that big bite button.
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell everybody call Garmin and get that big bite button. They sell it. It's on their website. Guarantees you a big fish in conjunction with your forward facing
Ha-
sonar.
Have have
99 on Black Friday.
have y'all seen the meme? It's like Gen 3, front facing sonar. They hit a button and the little robot pops out of the fish finder and it says
Yeah.
target acquired and it like catches the bass and hands it to
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw
I haven't seen that one.
him.
Yeah, I don't doubt it though, and especially with AI, people can make all kinds of things now that you're like, "Whoa, okay." Somebody's going to go out and actually try to find that right there. Coleman Jones wants to know: could you kayak fish somewhere like the St. Lawrence River, or would the current be too strong?
No, I know people who kayak on the St. Lawrence all the time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they host tournaments out there too.
Yeah, 100% they do. In fact, I think that guy who got busted cheating like had won one on the St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
So like,
Was it
man,
legit? Was it legit?
uh,
Yeah, people kayak fish Lake Erie and stuff, man.
yeah,
Oh
I mean,
hell,
I'm taking a kayak 5 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico. Uh,
yeah, no.
yeah, spearfishing, like diving off the back of it, spearfishing and stuff. I've had mine in the Mississippi River, the Tom Bigby Waterway, big rivers like that, and big lakes.
Yeah, but you got
It's
a motor, right?
I mean, I do, but I didn't take that motor out in the Gulf. I had my pedal drive,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, I do have that Excite trolling motor on the front, and that's it. But I've taken the pedal drive and left the motor at home on some of these big places because it becomes more of a hindrance than it
Yeah.
does becoming helpful because it throws your weight off the balance of the weight. If you know you're gonna be in big rough water, it throws your balance off a lot. So I've left it home sometimes in these big areas.
Don't you think though, like, I've been on say Nickajack, when you get up to the very back, I guess it's Chick's Dam right there, just outside
Yeah.
and all that. I mean, we were in a big center console trying to catfish, and that current was way too strong for even that boat that day. I guess they were releasing or doing whatever the hell or whatever it was. So I guess you just kind of have to read the water, where you're at,
Yeah,
right?
and it's very much you have to read the water, and it's what you're comfortable with. What I'm comfortable with and what some other people are not comfortable with is two totally different things. Like you said, I am a little crazy, but I also am very, very good at reading the water and knowing where my limit is. And I've actually bailed out of the water was so rough, I've bailed out of my kayak but kept my tow strap on it, and that way I could pull myself to the kayak because the waves were so rough. I knew if I stayed in it, my weight was going to cause it to flip. So I got out of my kayak and then let the current push me somewhere calmer that I could get back in my kayak where I knew I wasn't going to flip. So it's very much about reading your situation, knowing your situation awareness, knowing your limits, and don't think you're the biggest, baddest thing out there that nothing can happen, because I've seen disaster strike on the water. You know, I've been on search and rescue. I'm a diver. You know, I got certified with Tupelo Rescue, the search divers and stuff, and I help with that stuff. And it's something I never want to have to do, but people think they know the limits when they don't. So it's a big thing, especially kayak fishing, is reading the limits and knowing your limits and knowing the water.
Well, same thing like for you, Alex. I know you fish out of your kayak a lot at night.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any special precautions you take being out there at night, or are you kind of keeping it shallow against the docks the whole time, and avoiding the big water? What are some of the things you do?
No, I don't avoid anything. I'm typically out there. You know, when you're out there after dark, there's not many people out there, right? So I always carry a good spotlight, a nice bright flashlight. I've always got an air horn with me day or night. I always have an air horn, and I always have an air horn that's going to work. I'll always check it, test it a little bit before I go out. Out there dodging Bigfoot, yeah.
For sure. What about that one from Patricia Leanne Shaw?
So
I do.
don't typically carry an anchor with me because I'm mostly fishing deep water. I have spot lock, so I use the XI3.
I also have XI3. I actually bought mine specifically without spot lock because I've been using it, and current pushes you a little too hard, and it tries to shoot you back where you want to go, and you're standing up, and they'll throw you out. But I do carry an anchor. I will say, if y'all do anchor out of your kayak, never anchor off the sides. Either anchor off the bow or the stern, because if you're in current or something like that, you anchor off the side, you will get flipped or drug under. So always anchor off the bow or stern. That's your safest method for anchoring.
Yeah,
Okay.
when I did use an anchor, I had mine on an anchor trolley. So it's a pulley system that goes on the side of the kayak, and you can position the anchor front, back, or wherever you want it to be. But
See, I
yeah,
had
I agree with that about not anchoring off the side.
Yeah, I had one that I could actually hook to a buoy and toss it off. Especially when I'm catfishing in a river and I get a hold of these giant catfish. I would toss anchor with a buoy and just go follow it.
Okay, Thad. KP's got a question for you. What month should I drive Danny to Mississippi to catch a 4-pound crappie? I'm very
Uh,
intrigued with this question.
March, like February and March, maybe early April. You got people actually just wade fish with a fly rod and pull them up during the spawn and stuff.
You can fly fish for crappie in Mississippi?
You can snag crappie in Mississippi.
Crappie. Let me say it right. I want to make sure. Yes. Let me
So
repeat my question. You can fly fish for crappie in Mississippi?
you can. You sure can. People like have long jigging poles and stuff like that, and just absolutely wear them out. They'll have a limit. Some of our lakes is actually a 14-inch minimum on
For crappie?
crappie.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, that's cool. Mr. Fletch Griffin, appreciate you joining us tonight. You can take your kayak anywhere as long as you have the proper skills and training to do so safely. Makes
yeah.
sense. Makes sense. That's exactly what you guys were talking about right there. Let's see if I can catch up on some of the questions. Now, War Eagle, he was the one talking about the forward-facing sonar. I had to give myself a chance. It's not easy to catch moving bass with forward-facing sonar.
No,
You
it's
know,
not.
it's not, and I really think bass are adapting to forward-facing sonar and like feeling that vibration and knowing something bad's going to happen. Because I've seen them react differently. If I see where they're at and take it off of them, I found I have a better chance of saying I remember they were that way and catching them like that than I did keeping the beam on them.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. The same thing, pretty much. So I'll pan it around, and I'll see fish, and I'll move it. I'll grab my rod, flip my bail open, and get ready, and then I'll find them again so that I can line my cast up.
Yeah,
And once I sling it, most of the time I'm turning it away from them. But I like to watch them. I like to video game fish. I like to watch them eat it. It's fun.
Listen, now, Thad, we were my first time ever in a kayak, and I've only been out in mine once. I'm waiting till I get a little bit better. And I was a little kind of once I got going. But hey, listen, I paddled like hell. I got all the way up there to where he was at and all that. And I get Alex, what were you? 30 yards maybe from me?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, there's a couple of big ones right between us like that. And I'm throwing out there, and I don't have it on my kayak so far. But I'm listening to he's giving me the play-by-play. Like they're nosing down on it. They're nosing down on it. And I didn't even have it on my boat, and it was still kind of exciting just hearing Alex go, dude, they're there, they're on it, man. Just be ready. Of course, they didn't hit it, but that's still sometimes you can have some entertainment by watching them fish on that live.
Yeah. What kayak do you have, Danny?
I got the Crescent Shoaly, and it was given to me by
Fletch.
By Fletch and them down there. Oh crud, his shop.
Westbrook Supply.
Westbrook. Yeah, I want to make sure I said that right. And so it sat at the shop for a while once I got it up there because I didn't have a way to get it home. And I finally got it home, and Alex and I went out on it. And I was going to video it, my first time ever. And of course, Josh gave me a full card or something like that, and I couldn't video or a dead battery or something. So I'm waiting. The next time I am going to video it, and I got to get it set up. But I think I was I'll be honest with you, it took a few minutes to get feeling comfortable.
It does.
Because you kind of rock a little bit. But once I got out there and got to fishing, and I think a Shoaly's it's probably better for current, wouldn't you say? And that's where I want to get comfortable enough to start going down some rivers. Because I don't get to fish rivers very often. Yeah. Lakes, I can take a boat, whatever, like that. But I want to get in the rivers. And with me saying that, how much time do either of you spend fishing rivers? I'd say, Alex, you're probably more of a lake guy, right?
I've never been on the river.
Okay, Ed. So Alex and I have never been on a river. We want to go down, let's just say the Etowah here, and it's not very fast. It's kind of a lazy river and all that. Do you do anything different when fishing a river on your kayak as opposed to going on a lake?
Oh yeah. If especially depending on the situation of the river, like how fast current, and if I know there's a lot of trees and stuff hanging over, because in a lake it's easy to avoid trees in a kayak sometimes, but on the river, I will take less rods. That way, if I know I'm going on a bunch of tree stuff, I can go ahead and either lay those rods down, or the Titan's got 4 rod holders built into it. So I normally take a few less rods, but I do more kayak fishing, more kayak cat fishing and crappie fishing on the river than I do. I do a decent amount of bass fishing, but if I'm on the river, I take like less rods. I have less gear overall, but I do make sure that my stuff's a little more secure because the flip factor is a little more real on the rivers around here, because like the 10 times one of the largest water highways in the country, like there's barges and wake boats and everything on it, as opposed to some of these little backwater rivers I'll fish. I won't take my big kayak. I'll take a little sit on top smaller kayak just for the ease of it.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of the Etowah, something real nice and
slow.
Yeah.
Sure. And it depends if it's rocky or not.
Yeah, Papa Pondhopper wants to know what's your personal best catfish, since you've talked about it. And then let me tell Jeff Brazil one time, crappie, just to make Jeff Brazil have his crappie. So what's your PB catfish? On a kayak. I don't care about
on a kayak, probably 30 pounds, 35 pounds.
And how long did it take you to get it in?
Maybe 5 minutes. What
was John Aldred? He's a local kayaker around here. He had one that busted a 50-pound scale. They couldn't even actually weigh it.
Yeah.
He caught it on He caught it on a chatterbait or something like that, or a crankbait?
Yeah, I think it was a chatterbait.
Yeah, and he caught it. How long did he say that he fought that?
I don't remember how long. I know he had to beach the kayak and get out.
Yeah, it was a gnarly looking flathead too. I mean, big ugly ass thing.
I've hooked in some monster fish before that I was not truly prepared for on a kayak. Like
what's your your biggest fish of all time out of a kayak?
My biggest fish of all time out of a kayak would probably be the 40-pound buffalo.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Now I've hooked into, and this coming up year, I plan on doing a lot more like adventure with my kayak, chasing monsters. I'm going after, there's a lake that's a oxbow off Mississippi. It's got a bunch of 6 and 7 foot alligator gar. I'm chasing those this year. Coming up here in my kayak, I'm going spoonbill snagging in my kayak. I'm chasing giant, like we've caught flatheads that are 60, 70 pounds. So I'm taking my kayak where we normally would take the boat and go. So I'm going to be chasing those big fish like that this year out of kayak. I may not fish as many big tournaments, but I'm going to do a lot more like adventure type fishing with it.
That'd be good for you too, page. He's gonna become River Monster. River Monster with Thad.
you,
Now,
you know why they canceled that show is because he caught every river monster.
yeah, like seriously, his next thing, what he needs to do is do one, go get fat girls out of bars. That's what he did all across the world.
Oh God. Just
Yeah.
throw a couple Marines out there. That'll take care of it right there. They'll chase them down. They love them. I say that I got a bunch of Marine buddies.
No, I've heard that though. I've heard that rumor. Now, KP wants to know, Thad, if I spray my kayak down with garlic, will it keep the snakes out of my kayak?
No, that is a rumor. When I was helping do, commercial, invasive species and pests and stuff, there's like, well, I sprayed this garlic and stuff around my house to keep snakes out. Like, you got about a day worth of that maybe, but it's not going to do anything. It was more the phosphorus in it than anything. So don't waste your money, because that water's going to wash it away so quick. And by the time they get in and realize if it does have any potent smell to them, they're just going to have a mad snake in your kayak, and that seems worse.
I think if I had a snake anywhere near me in a kayak, I'm in the water because I'm gonna try to beat the hell out of the thing, and I'm gonna flip. I automatically know that. Now, Fletch says, Danny, let's do a river overnight trip. You will love it. I had talked to Fletch and them about doing an episode of the Real American Road Trip around that, but since we're kind of on pause a little bit, we might just have to do one, Alex, like that for the.
I would love to get on the river, but I would be a little nervous to take my kayak out there because it doesn't turn very well.
Because it's too damn bougie with all the stuff you got on there.
Well, and yeah, I've got a lot of money in it that I don't want to lose because I flip it over.
Dude,
So
Alex, I just bought a 14-foot canoe. We got this. I paid $100 for it.
Canoe is fine.
A second boat so that I can have one to take out on the river.
Well, hell, you got mine.
Yeah, I know, but I'm putting some stuff on yours.
Oh, are you? Well, there you go. Listen, bring it back nicer than what you took it. But you know what? I think if we did that, like instead of being able to do what I wanted to do, though, if we had a bunch of guys and they all had our own little GoPros and we had some other extra cameras and stuff like that, we could make it into a pretty cool video. As long as it, again, no Brokeback Mountain. We're not doing, none of that. He said overnight, so we want to make sure we quantify that. Patricia Leanne Shaw says, "Pimp my yak." There you go. But we'll do that. Now, Cranking and Yanking he come up with this, and you're talking about the rivers out there. How about any wake boats on those rivers?
Dude, I dealt with a wake boat on Gunnersville. Me and Charlie both. The wake boat probably passed, I don't know, 20 yards in front of us. This full wake's going, full, floats and all of it going. He's just waving at us like, "Hey guys!" And it was like, "Well, we got to face into this because if not, we may still flip." He was throwing them big wakes too. So, God, I can't stand a wake boat. Even before a kayak, I didn't like wake boats.
The wake boats don't bother me as bad as the wake boaters.
Okay, what do you mean by the wake boaters?
Boaters bother me more than the boat does. Just because
they do that?
It's ignorance. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Definitely know what you mean. Now, how about this, though? This is a question for both of you, especially Alex, because you're on Lanier all the time. Is it true, and I've heard a lot of kayak guys say it, that when a bass boat's coming by, sometimes the guys think they're being polite and they slow down?
Yeah.
But they actually make it worse by slowing down. It'd be better if they kept going full throttle. Is that something you two can agree on that?
Yeah, 100%.
I just had a guy yesterday. He sees me, slows down when he gets close, pushes a big wake, and then as soon as he's 10 foot past me, motors down again, another big wake. It's like he should have just stayed up on pad.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not blowing by me at 20 feet beside me, I'm good.
Yeah.
Don't throw a big wave on me. Because again, here on the 10 time, I've dealt with barges and everything. And again, the wake boaters and the guys with these, want to be rednecks with these giant, yachts from the 50s that they buy and try to fix up coming from Alabama to Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
And the worst thing they'll be blowing by us and they'll just slow down. All of a sudden you have these giant wakes and you're like, well, this is it.
Yeah, here we go, boys, right there. Now, Alex, this is for you. Steve Billington says, "No broke back, so don't take Alex with Andrew." With Andrew right there. And then Flex said, "I could be the big spoon." Might be a cold night. You never know. It might be a cold night. So, Let's see. We're kind of caught up a little bit on the questions right there. But Steve Billington says stay on plane, and
Yeah.
Mikey says 1,000% like that. Well, okay. I'm gonna start off. Both of you kind of fish a little bit different areas, even though I know you're both on big lakes and stuff. But Alex, what's the number one mistake you think kayakers make when fishing a lake? And let's say kind of like what you do at night.
Not being lit up. I see too many people out there in the dark that don't even have a 360 light on their kayak, their canoe, their paddleboard, anything like that. I pulled up on people and almost hit them because I didn't see them.
Oh,
and
in
I'm
your
only
kayak.
going 5 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
I do.
You got to be lit up. You got to be lit up.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good thing. All right,
Yeah.
that's getting serious with this question. He done took off the robe.
No, I was getting hot, man. Even though it's like it's cool outside now, that thing is hot.
I get it. You look hot in it.
I'm gonna say like the number one, thing people make mistakes, like he said at night, not being lit up, but thinking that they can stand up in some kayaks when they're not used to it, they just fall right out. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll stand on the bow of mine and pitch and flip during bedding season for fish, but I got size 13 wide feet. I got a good platform I can stand up on, and I've got decent balance. If you don't do it. You're just going to fall out and ruin your day and get mad.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's fair enough too. Now I don't know about this, Captain J Morgan. This kind of scares me a little bit right here. Y'all could join KBF's Yak Off. Well, again, hey, you kayak guys are a little bit strange. You name it whatever you want to name it.
You have to be invited to that, I believe. And
I would guess so.
I don't think that, I don't know if we're big enough name to be considering the Yak Off against guys like the Tennessee Bass Yacker and stuff. And they just got to change the name.
I'm sorry. The 13-year-old Danny's coming out in me right now, and I'm like, like if I had that shirt, it's like Fish North Georgia's Yak Off. My wife would be like, "You can't say that. You're supposed to be going to church on Sundays and all that." Tournament, like she would. I put Cranking and Yanking, and I don't think I ever told Cranking and Yanking this since he's old. Cranking and Yanking, you sent me that shirt, and I took a picture with it, and I put it on social media around here, and I said, "If you know, you know." And so all the guys, of course, that watch the live and all that, well, they know Cranking and Yanking. My wife thought it was kind of like a perverted saying kind of shirt and all that. And she's like, that is not proper to be having on social media and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, look, my wife is the same way. But again, this is the same woman who bought me a shirt. The guy who's hooking something up that says "Great things come to those who bait." So,
well, I had Tony Collins' shirt on too, and it's something like "Big girls don't like a little worm" on the back. And Amanda's like, "Where did you get that? Where did you get that shirt? That's just disgusting and all that." She thought, and I'm like, "Damn, girl, it's Tony's shirt." But Cranking and Yankee says, my channel gets mistaken for porn often. People are very disappointed to see me. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I'd be disappointed too. But again, I was like, honey, it's a fishing YouTube channel. I promise you, it is what it is. She was like, rah, rah, rah. Let's see. Listen, the biggest problem kayak anglers make both day and night is assuming they are seen, which kind of goes to what you were saying, Alex, especially at night. And but I'll tell you this too: when you talk about standing up, there is no way in hell, and Alex could tell you that day I was out there, first time ever, I would have even thought about standing up in that kayak. Seriously, I did not have the confidence or anything like that. And I'm not even sure if a Shoaly is the best. I mean, I'm sure you could stand up in it, but I don't know if it's like the best one to stand up.
I'll tell you, and Alex has seen the video of me and my Titan. I'm going full speed, pushing 5 miles an hour, going down in Guntersville. There's one where I'm standing like Captain Morgan, got the Pirates of the Caribbean theme playing in the background, and there's another one I made just because I'm a giant kid. That's what I am. I'm a 34-year-old 6 foot something, 200+ pound man child. I am. So I was dancing to Pink Pony Club as I'm going full speed like that, and my buddy sitting there spinning around me, videotaping me. So I mean, I'm just dancing the Pink Pony Club.
Well, like I'm sitting here thinking, you're dancing the Pink Pony and all that. Cranking and Yankins channel is a porn channel. Lex
Talking
Griffin
about
wants me to
talking about yakking off.
a yak off. Fletch wants me to be the big spoon. And of course, Alex is in love with Andrew Blair, so we all know that's going on right there. This show's getting off to a hell of a first episode right there.
Hey, by the way, if y'all see me fall, and I've almost done it a couple times, I found this the recliner kind of on the side of the road. A friend of mine put it out. He said it was broken, and I thought I fixed it. But every now and then, I'll just be sitting there, and the whole thing just collapses. So if I go flying, just I'll get back up.
You got a recliner off the side of the road.
It was a friend of mine who put it out because the spring
all
broke
right.
in it. I didn't go pick up a random recliner.
You're driving out. That's the most Mississippi thing I've ever heard. You're driving down the road. Oh, damn, a recliner.
Damn, they're throwing that thing away.
I can fix that.
I bet I can fix it. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Let me ask you this, at both of you guys. Thad, what would be like your bucket list kayak adventure?
Okay, I would have to say I would either want to go to Asia and chase like the giant like snakeheads and stuff over there, or I want to go down to the Amazon chasing like Arapama and giant peacocks and stuff like that. I think catching something like that would just be astronomically fun, a huge adventure, and I might get to, I've caught an escaped anaconda up here that was escaped from a pet shop. I might get to jump on the back of a wild anaconda down there on my kayak. So that's kind of a bucket list for me too. So probably the South America trip.
Okay, there you go. What about you, Alex?
I'd probably go out to California and get some 8-pound spots.
Oh yeah, that's right up your wheelhouse. I could see that too. That would be fun. What's the name of that lake out there? Everybody does that in
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake. Yeah, that's.
There's a couple of them. That's the one that always sticks with me the most, though. Is Clear Lake.
Clear Lake is. Yeah, okay. Now listen, have you ever Thad back to the catching of the snakes? You ever done the pythons? And does it matter whether it's a python or anaconda? Does it matter?
I mean, no, it doesn't matter. I want to go down to South Florida and do it. I go spearfishing with a buddy of mine in Tampa. And we go through South Florida a lot, but I haven't gone chasing the pythons yet. Guy I went to college with, he goes by Instagram, the Croc Doc. He's down there in the Everglades, removing Nile crocodiles and Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons.
Yeah.
They found like a king cobra out there one time, all kind of stuff. So I would love to go. That's another thing I'd love to go do is catch some big pythons in the Everglades.
Puerto Rico, if you ever get down to Puerto Rico in the rainforest, we filmed down there, and
I saw that. I was very jealous of it. I'd love to catch one of those wild rainbow boa down there. That'd be that's a bucket list snake of mine to catch.
It's pretty cool. Now, Steve Billington says, this is back to you Mississippians. They get food off the road down there. Why not a chair?
First off, Steve, you live in Missouri, all right? Ozarks. I lived in Missouri studying bear for a while. There are some hills have eyes people there that put us and the Cajuns to shame. Love the state of Missouri, but
yeah, well, I think it's like a family member. Every state's got that group, right?
Oh, they do.
We got that group. It's not how deep you fish, it's how you wiggle your worm. That's what I've heard my entire life for sure. James Ramsey, what's up? Yeah. Hey, listen, Cranking and Yankee said that sounds like my father-in-law getting that chair off the side of the road. But now listen, this is
to be fair, I don't live out in the country. I live in a very nice neighborhood. So I mean, it's like the guy whose yard I got this out of has a Porsche. So I mean, it's a very nice recliner. It's comfortable.
Except it just stows you back every once in a while.
Every now and then it does. If you watch the episode of the podcast I put out, I'm like talking to Charlie mid sentence, and I just like if you lean back just a little far, it just goes like that right there. You don't hit a button, you just lean.
Yeah, there you go. And talking about this, like when I say every state has one, like my father-in-law, God rest his soul, when he was alive, I remember one New Year's Eve he called me up.
Broke.
It's broke now. You finally did it. It's done.
It's done.
It's done. He would only go out partying one night a year. It was New Year's Eve, and him and some other family members went. And Amanda and I were staying at his house watching some of the young ones while the rest of them. And he calls me up about 20 minutes after he's left. He goes, "Hey, listen, if you come up to the intersection of 136 and 9, about 100 yards shy, I just busted a deer with my truck. I only hit it." He said, "I hit it in the head. Go pick that thing up and come home and skin it." And I spent a New Year's Eve, skinning out roadkill. And it happens. That's just that. So every state's got it. Now boaters look at me crazy when I stand up and I'm fishing in the south end of Lanier on the lake. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I'd get out in the middle doing it, but I'm sure some of them do. Have y'all ever seen those jet skis in saltwater, big time set up and rigged for fishing?
Yes,
I've seen them.
On Lake
they're
Lanier.
nice. I've been on one.
Have you?
Yeah, when I was down in Tampa, a guy had one. I just got to try it out.
Get comfortable and we don't want you flying back again. So you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I have never. Have you, Alex?
I haven't been on them, but I've seen them out on Lanier.
Okay. Alex, if there was one thing that you don't have on your kayak that you wish you had, which I'm trying to figure out what the hell that could possibly be. But if there was something that was still out there that you don't have on your kayak, what would it be?
I don't think I could put anything else on there, but
That's what I'm saying. I think you got everything. Or could you upgrade? Maybe an upgrade or something.
I might upgrade my trolling motor.
Okay. What do you have? What do you have now?
I have an XI3, a 12-volt XI3, 55-pound thrust trolling motor.
Okay. What would you upgrade it to?
I'd probably upgrade either to the Newport NK300 or a 24-volt
Okay.
XI5.
All right. Billington's got a legit question right here. What is the best kayak on the market right now for all around fishing? So we say all around. We're talking rivers, lakes, whatever, ice fishing, ocean fishing, whatever the hell. What's the best all around one?
I'd like to say I haven't seen it yet. It's brand new. It just a lot of places don't even have them yet. They will next week, and it's the Native Hammer.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty versatile. It's really nice. It's cut. It's the one. Like it's. And then I was gonna say the PWR 129. It's not the only answer. My second answer though.
Your second.
Yeah. So I would definitely, for me, because some of the big water I go in, like, offshore, something like that, I would definitely say the Titan. The only place that I'd pick a different kayak maybe over the Titan would be the Hobie PA14. Does a little bit better in the marsh when you're with those fins, when you're saltwater fishing for like trout and redfish and stuff like that. Those fins do work a little bit better in that type situation versus the Titan and everywhere else.
Okay, that's fair enough because I'm still again I'm learning all this stuff, and that's what this podcast is like. I'm kind of mentally listening to all the things you guys are saying as well. I think we're caught up so far. Yeah, we're caught up with the questions and all that. Alex, you got anything for the man right there?
No, not really, man. We just kind of been going at it out here and just talking.
You have. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. What but if you could ask Dad like a biology question, fish question, what would you ask him? I know I put you on the spot. Throw something out there.
What's the best way, or what do you look for when you're going out in the wintertime, say on a new body of water? What are you looking for on the map study before you go?
I'm looking for really the depths of stuff and if it has rocks or not. I'm a big fan of fishing any kind of rock structure on cold winter days where it's been sunny recently because those rocks seem to hold heat. And I always do pretty good on that. But I always like seeing the depth structure where they're how the water's going to be, where the bait could be if they're staying down there for temperature variation, stuff like that. So I really like for them to there be a deep canal coming off a flat like that, or a levee with rocks. That's what I'll look for, and that's where you'll primarily find me fishing.
Okay, that's fair enough. What are you catching right now? I mean, for your fishing. I mean, what are you catching them on right now?
Underspin. I've kind of put the blade jig away for a little bit. the normal size. I've downgraded to the Mini Max with a MRE trailer or a cut up Pogue trailer. We're shortening it up some. The smaller baits, because the shad right now they're eating where I'm at, it's mainly threadfin, so they're all like that big from the spawn earlier this year and the last brim spawn. So I'm using a lot of smaller baits. I'm throwing a double willow spinner bait is going to be another big one for me. Of course, the walking spook is always a good choice this time of year. So mainly those four baits are really what I'm going right now. As it cools down a little bit more, I'll switch to a micro finesse jig and kind of work it with no trailer, just the actual jig itself, working it. And to me, those work really well. Once the shads start balling up good, come January or so around here, I will throw a lipless red eye shad and yo-yo it through them, and that's always been super super effective for me. But I'll throw the underspin with the smallest baits I can cast out with it right now, and those are just super effective because of the shad spawn, the fish reaching that size and starting to school themselves, and the late brim spawn we have here this year.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: what's the water temp right now in Mississippi? I want to see if it's comparable to Georgia.
Uh, right now it's really weird because we had some like days in the teens, and it's been in the 80s the last few days. So I'm gonna say it's probably mid to upper 60s still, if
You
not low
guys, you guys
70s.
have had teens already in Mississippi?
Yeah, it got down to we had a wind chill of like 16. It was an air temp of 22.
We haven't been that cold yet, have we, Alex?
Mm-mm.
No, like that.
We
Oh, we
had we
got down
had
to the 20s.
we
Yeah.
had we had 2 days in the 20s, and the wind chill or the wind chill on one of them was 16, but it was air temperature of 22 that morning.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Them being in Mississippi and it being colder. I mean, what part of Mississippi are you in?
So I'm kind of like north centralish. I'm in Starkville. So the Tennessee line is about 2.5 hours north of me. Alabama is 20 minutes east of me. I can get to Tuscaloosa in 45 minutes.
Okay, so you're not down on the coast.
No, no, no. I'm not. I am. It's 4 hour, about a 4 hour drive. I can be at the beach.
Okay, you where all the tornadoes come through?
Yes,
Okay, I hate to
I
say
am.
that, but I mean, like when we're watching
Yeah,
the weather, there is a part of like Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and all that. You just kind of like,
yeah.
damn, they get hit
So
all
like
that.
that giant E5 that wiped out Smithville, like the most powerful tornado ever recorded, is about 30 minutes north of me.
Holy Toledo! How far are you from Tupelo?
Uh, at maybe an hour. So I grew up right outside of Tupelo.
Oh,
Um, my grandmother's best friend had photos of Elvis when he was a kid, and them like picking cotton on their farm and stuff, and like playing his guitar sitting under the tree. They like saw him at the first fairs and stuff up there.
okay, that's crazy. All right, KP, Dad, should we turn off our electronics when we are 6 foot or less, or 10 foot or less to increase our catches, or just let it rip?
Let it rip, man. I actually have scoped fish in 4 foot of water, like 4 and 5 foot. And I even turned on the scout mode on my Lowrance, but
Mm-hmm.
just watching them and stuff like that, and it's a lot of fun. But I'll run side scan pretty much all the time to make sure that I'm staying the depth I want to, and just make sure there's no fluctuations in water temp.
Didn't you say earlier, Alex, something about you would throw it up there and then turn your scope away?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you say something like that? Why do you do
Mhm.
that? All right,
Just in case.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. We gotta do this. Now, I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna do one thing for old cranking and yanking right here. Let me find it. Let me find it.
Are you gonna change?
So I think that the bass are adapting to feeling that vibration with the front facing sonar. Because I got
Yeah.
in the water one day and I had someone pointed at me and was like, if I can feel this and hear this underwater, I know a fish can.
We've heard people. We've had kind of like something similar discussion like that, and some people don't believe that at all. I mean, I forget. Somebody said that, and then somebody said, "Oh no, I don't know. I don't know enough about it." But don't you remember that, Alex? Haven't we talked about
Yeah, and I feel like it might be fish dependent, right? So like
Yeah.
some fish you can point it on them and leave it on them and follow them with it, and then there's some fish where you point it on them and
They
they're gone.
gone.
They're gone.
Look
You
at
don't
Cranky.
you don't see them anymore. Yes.
That's right. Little Cranky, yeah, best setting on the live scope is the off button. I love you, cranking and yanking, you old grumpy ass from Louisiana. How about this one? Cody and Hobie says, turn it away so they don't feel the pinging as much as why I turn mine away.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and I agree with that 100%.
but so you're saying it's okay. You get in there, the shallow scope them, turn it away, make the cast, or make the cast and then turn it away. Is there?
I like see right where they are and pick a landmark and turn away real quick and just cast at that area.
No,
Okay,
I like to find them. I'll turn it away, get my whatever I want to throw at them if I don't already have it in my hand, right?
yeah,
And then I'll look and make sure they're still there, or try to find them if they moved. Line up my cast, turn it away, make my cast.
okay. Now, let me make sure I get this because I'm not doing TikTok out of this one here. We never know. All right, so let me ask you this question: do kayakers? I gotta make sure. Like I'm lost over here, Alex. I don't know how the hell you guys did the show. I'm like, yeah. See, I was going to pull up Thad right there, so now I know which one's Thad. Listen, all right. Do kayakers utilize side scan 2D as much as they do forward facing sonar in 2025?
I
I
do.
say, yeah, 100%. I actually use my side scan more than I use my forward facing sonar because when I'm cruising and when my trolling motor going full speed, I have mine completely up out of the water. I'm just
Yeah.
side scanning going. I'm looking for structure, looking for. I've gotten to now. I can actually pick bait balls out. I know that's a fish on a rock. I've learned my shadows. I use side scan probably 75 to 80% of the time. I use down scan maybe 10. I only use my front facing sonar maybe 10 to 15% of the time. Very much a side scan dependent person. And I know a lot of people are. A lot of kayakers don't use it at all. They just have something basic for water depth and temperature.
Okay. What about you, Alex, on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. If I'm cruising, I've got my live scope's not even in the water, right? So
Okay.
I'm using my side scan to look for structure, look for brim beds, look for bait balls, look for schools of fish. And silver punk, how do you calculate the distance? So you set it out, 65 feet, and that black space is how deep the water is, and then you've got, I mean, there's a chart on your screen most of the time that
Yep.
shows, if you're 65 or 85 feet out, and then you can just kind of figure, okay, so if the water's 30 foot deep, you can eliminate that 30 foot and kind of figure it out from there. If
You
something's,
know,
yeah, no, it's not 30 foot away.
yeah.
You calculate that water depth.
Yeah. I'll tell you what a lot of people do in Mississippi, like they have live scope specifically for alligator hunting and spoonbill snagging. Because in Mississippi, you have to hunt alligators, you spotlight them at night and cast on them and snag them with rod and reel. It's not like what you see on TV. So when we're in the middle of these big rivers, or like on the Mississippi River or these big lakes, and these alligators go down, they stay down for 20 plus minutes. That front facing sonar makes it a whole lot easier to catch the alligator. Um, Way easier. So I use it a lot for that and spoonbill snagging, and catfishing is a whole lot of fun. If you see these catfish, you can try to toss a live brim or something in front of them. It's a good time. I honestly use my front facing sonar more for stuff like that than I do actually bass fishing.
Okay. Now I got a question about that comment right there. Is it a controversy in the alligator hunting world to use forward facing sonar to find them?
No, but I know more than one person that while fighting the alligator, it has actually come up and ripped their front facing sonar straight off of their trolling motors and stuff. I've had alligators twice, one on Toledo Bend and one on the Ross Barnett here in Mississippi, grab my trolling motor and try to rip it off of my kayak. Not even like, I mean, I just like rolled up on them by accident and they just straight up latched onto it.
Mm, that's kind of crazy. Now I have heard guys talk about some musky guides talk about being in like drift boats, taking guys down the river, like up in McMinnville and all that. That a muskie sometimes will follow in somebody's lure or something, but the actual paddles in the water distract them, and they'll go attack the paddle.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Giggles, I guess, right there. Of course, here we go. I'm waiting for the RC lures to come out so I can hear people say, "Hey, I still have to drive this thing."
There's
Like,
already saltwater guys flying their baits out with a drone off the shore.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Crankin' Jenkins in a mood tonight. He's coming after us guys like that. Um, where do you see Thad? Where do you see kayak fishing going in 2026 as far as on the tournament side?
There's a big thing going around saying the kayak tournament scene is dying. And I really don't think it is. I think it's getting bigger, but I think there's just more. I think they said that after Hobie left, and I think people are anxious to see with Bass Pro Shop buying Hobie if the BOS series is going to come back because the BOS was like the biggest kayak series, not just here in America but worldwide. They
Mhm.
still have a big saltwater series. A good friend of mine here in town fishes it, but I really think that some of the smaller trails may be dying off just because a lot of your kayak fishermen are my generation. We've got small kids now. We're spending a little more time with family, but in the next few years, as those kids grow up and they come out fishing with, I see it getting bigger. But I don't see it dying off the way some people say it is. I see 2026 growing um, overall because of the areas that they're hosting some of the bigger tournaments. I think some of the bigger tournament series are going to get bigger. I think a lot of hometown series are popping up. I think they're going to get bigger, and the college kayak series is growing. They're starting a high school series here in Mississippi. The 4-H kayak program, I've been requested by multiple states to send them the planning for it. So while some people say it may be dying, I really see it growing. I honestly do. I think it's going to continue. I think we may see some forward facing sonar rule changes for some of your bigger series, like we have on the MLF side and the boat side of things and the Elite Series. But I don't see that being a hindrance for us because not everyone has it like they do in the boat series.
Right.
So
Let's see. Let's hit Ken's real quick. Is there benefits to the Hydrowave or Livingston lure technology?
yeah, I have never really dealt with the Hydra Wave or anything like that. I know that's a lot bigger in smallmouth country up north, and I've seen people use it, turn it on, and they start catching the crap out of smallies, and I've seen them turn it on and they stop catching smallies. So I think it really depends on if those fish have adapted to that lure type and those systems in areas like we're starting to see largemouth and spots and stuff adapt to front facing sonar beams. So I really think that is a fisheries dependent type situation and a fish memory situation.
Okay, fair enough. I want to get both of your comments on this, and we'll kind of uh, okay. Well, cranking and yanking out. Steve Billington, let me read this real quick. The scene isn't dying. People are just getting more bitchy. The more the glitter culture infiltrates kayaking, the more fracture this community sees. You know what? I can see that. Maybe I'm not as involved in the kayak world, but I do see where, maybe some of the attitudes could infiltrate. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it has or not, but Alex, what do you think about that comment?
I can see that. Yeah, I can see.
You think it's happening?
I don't necessarily think it's happening. I think it could happen pretty quick though.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, fair enough, right there. Uh,
100%.
Last question of the night. We're gonna give it to cranking and yanking. Come on, pull it up right here. What is your opinion on why they are limiting forward-facing sonar moving forward? Thad?
Honestly, I think the reason they're limiting it is so many, no offense to people who are much older than me or, like that. There's such an outcry of people saying, well, I'm not watching it no more, yada, 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 this, yada, yada, that, make it more competitive, all that stuff. I think they're limiting it just to reduce the outcry, even though the actual streaming and watching of it is going up.
Mm-hmm.
But the squeaky wheel always gets the grease. And even though it is mainly a minority that's doing it, that's complaining so much about it, I really think that's why is so they're still having it to keep the younger audiences watching it, but they're also doing away with it, hopefully to pull back some of their original audiences. And you even see it to the point in some of these tournaments, they're not allowing it, period, in these clubs. And some of those guys are wanting to make it all the way up, and they don't know if they may be a fantastic angler, but it may be a little hard to compete against guys with front facing sonar. So maybe they're just trying to level the playing field. So I'm not 100% sure. Um, but the same thing happened when side scan became so good and KVD just absolutely dominated. Kevin Dam dominated the world with when he mastered side scan. The only reason you didn't hear complaining about it on the mass scale like you do now, so social media wasn't a thing.
Yep.
You heard about it in the bait shops, like, oh, that's cheating. They can see the fish as they're driving by on that rock. That's cheating. I said the same thing. They're saying about front facing sonar. There just wasn't Facebook or YouTube for people to complain about. So
I can do that. I will say this: I definitely don't think it's about the fish. Like any of these tournament organizations that ban it, they may put it out there, but I definitely think it's more for the viewership and all that, not the fish.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, and I mean, I'll give you one more question. Do you think forward facing sonar is affecting bass negatively?
no, not really. I really don't think it is.
Yeah. Well, being a biologist, I thought you might know if anybody knew.
Well, there's a bunch of studies out there, and all of them say for the time that it has been out is not enough time to gather actual factual data to see how they're actually going to adapt to it and change to it like they have everything else. You know, they banned the A rig because they said it was catching too many fish and too harmful. When in actuality, not really. They banned all kind of stuff because they said it was affecting the fisheries. But if you're the biologists who are putting out these major studies, who multi-lake, multi-year studies, even though they say it's not really affecting the fisheries negatively, they also say there's not enough data out there to draw a conclusion because it hasn't been around long enough to know the true effects of what it's going to be. We
Yeah.
probably will not know the true effects for another 10 to 15 years for a true biological study where you have enough examples from multiple lakes and multiple states and multiple generation of fish adapting.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't think you can argue with that. And I do agree that sometimes these decisions are made without, you hear certain people like it's killing fish and all that. I'm like, well, I mean, do you know? Do you really know? And then maybe 15 years down the road, it might prove true. I don't know yet. So, Alex, you got anything else?
No.
Well, I tell you what. First of all,
Hour mark.
huh?
We've hit that 2-hour mark.
We have, and,
Yeah.
and what I'm gonna do, Alex, I'm gonna get you a new StreamYard. I'm gonna get you that, so where you got all the questions right there, and then I'm gonna sit back and relax and drink a beer and let you run the next one. But listen, I appreciate you jumping on and helping us out with that for sure, because we want to make this Monday night. We want anybody that wants to watch it. But I definitely want to see if we can start giving the kayak world like a legitimate podcast where we can really bring the personalities and the different events. We didn't talk that much tournament fishing like your tournament at, what you've been fishing. Hopefully we can get you back on down the road and talk a little bit more about that as I learn it, as Alex teaches it to me and all that. And then, some of the finer points for people, that might just be wanting to get into the kayak. They want to know that. So I appreciate you coming on and jumping us.
And if anybody has any questions, Thad Me Outdoors, I respond pretty well on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm start, a few new series on my YouTube channel, Thad Me Outdoors. Go give me a follow.
Yep.
And I'll help anybody any way I can. And like I said, it was an honor to be, y'all's first guest on this. And it's always a fun time to be on y'all's podcast. It is a fantastic platform that y'all get to use and talk about. And it's a very real, down-to-earth conversation type platform.
Well, I mean, where else can you get kayak fishing, all the information? And we talk about spooning, Bigfoot, whatever the hell else came across, way Mississippi people get stuff off the side of the road, that's just the way we roll and all that. But I really, in all seriousness, though, dude, you guys definitely go follow him on his socials because it's good stuff. And one of the smartest guys that we've had on the live well and a perfect guest to start this off. And you guys over there that keep saying like you love it and everything, great idea. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends in the kayak world about it, that every Monday night from here on out, 8 p.m., it's going to be the Live Wells Kayak Night. And like I said, eventually that man up there in the right corner, I'm going to get him trained to run this podcast and all that. And then we're going to get rid of my ugly mug and replace it with another kayak guy that you guys can learn even more about. But right now, I'm just going to learn for the time being. So, again, Alex, I'm looking forward to getting you rolling with this.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be fun. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Now, tomorrow night on the live well, when we're back in my neck of the woods, Seth Fighter is going to be on. Oh, you like that one, right?
Yeah.
I got to make sure I hit him on Instagram, and I said, because he told me last week, yeah, I'll do it. Hell yeah. And I hit him earlier today. I'm like, we're still good for tomorrow night, right? And I haven't checked to see if he hit me back, but I think we are like that. So he'll be a hell of a guest. And so it'd be a good one. We'll pick his brain. And if you guys do like you did with Easton last week and have 32,000 questions, it ought to flow. And we need to pick all the juice out of Seth's brain that we can get. So, but again, you kayak guys, spread the word every Monday night right here at Fish North Georgia. Kayak Monday night. So again, Thad, appreciate it. Alex, appreciate it. I know you're tired. I know you worked hard today. Go take a shower and go to bed. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. So the rest of you guys, lunch break tomorrow, 12 o'clock. I'll be there. Join me. We'll talk about this a little bit more. So you guys have a great rest of your evening.